Righty, ladies and gentlemen, if you are familiar with Wuthering Waves and its endgame content, then chances are you're probably aware that the Tower of Adversity has gone through its first reset for version 3.0. Yes, we are still in version 2.8, but with 25 days left in this reset and only 15 days until the patch launches, it's clear that this iteration is what's going to actually be live when 3.0 comes out, alongside its new combat mechanics. And so what I wanted to do is actually talk about one of the new circumstances that has come up, especially in pretty much all of the end floors of the ToA. And that is a topic that everyone is scared of, but don't worry, I'm here to guide you through the developments that we've had. That topic is none other than HP inflation. And we've gotten a lot of documented reports from across a bunch of different regions. We've got a JP poster over here talking about the inflation. We've got Kaiser, one of my mods, on the global side talking about the inflation. And then we've got this spreadsheet that's in Chinese that I'm not going to bother trying to figure out how to read, because it's in Chinese. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's start breaking down all of the craziness that has been occurring, what to kind of expect from bosses and such moving forward, and why some of this inflation, why we're seeing it right now, and why people are struggling with it. So the realization that I think a lot of people have had, and this is probably going to be the easiest one just to kind of like look at the numbers, is the amount that's gone up on floors 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 of the middle tower. And the increases, while insignificant in some areas, have been far more noticeable in others. So basically, on the middle floors, you got floor 1 over here, right? You got floors 1 and 2 with the Sentry Construct, kind of an annoying boss, and then you got like these 3 guys, right? The Rocksteady Guardians and the Morning Ikes. The issue with this floor is that, well, the HP's gone up by about 300,000. That's not really that noticeable. I don't think a lot of people are necessarily struggling on Havoc on floors 1 and 2. I don't think these are really a concern for most of the players once they figure out how to deal with the Sentry Construct and parry him. I don't think these two are an issue at all. However, floors 3 and 4 is where stuff starts getting a little bit crazy, because this is where the difficulty just naturally starts ramping up in your ToA clears. And the reason for that is simple. There are more enemies. For example, on floor 4, you have 2 boss enemies instead of, I don't know, just like 1 or something like that. The end result is that combining this with the more restrictive buffs that we actually have available, and an increase of about, well, 300,000 HP on the first half, and then 400,000 more on the second half, well, guys, that's basically like a 700,000 HP increase. And that can be a lot. And there's a reason why a lot of individuals are not able to clear floors 3 and 4. More importantly, there are a lot of reasons for why people can't clear floor 4 in particular. Because floor 3, not really that much, right? An additional 200-something K, 300K, not that crazy. But 400K more on mobile bosses can be a little bit ridiculous, because guess what is the situation with the Thundering Mephis? Bro is one of the most mobile bosses in the game. You can't hit him very often, even with some of the newer characters. And the end result, guys, is that HP increase makes this floor 4 start to feel kind of a little bad. I was able to clear floor 3 with the Shorekeeper Mortifigion team. However, it just literally was not possible to do it on floor 4 because of the HP increase. So I had to put in Yuno instead. And the thing is, I was able to reliably use Mortifigion in some of the prior resets, and it's just not happening now. Starting to make a little bit of sense. And the thing is, when you compare it to some of the prior resets that we've had, and this is why Kaiser's chart is really, really, really nice, you can see over here that, well, HP totals were actually a lot lower in the past couple of resets. And then they seem to have spiked up in the most recent one. And now you must be wondering, okay, what's the explanation over here, right? It's not just the middle floors, right, that have increased. The side tower, the right boss went up by 600K. And then the left boss went up by, yeah, I don't really know how much this is because it's like AoE. It went up by a little bit as well, right? So every single ending floor in the ToA has gone up in HP. And you've got to be wondering, when we don't have any damage buffs, like in here, to make up for it, we're only people doing echo skill damage and negative status damage are getting their damage amped, and there haven't been any new buffs added to the side tower, you might be wondering, okay, Saint, why are the developers increasing every single side by like 300, 400, 500k, and then not adding in any new damage buffs or anything like that to offset it? And the reasoning is quite simple. We have an entirely new tunability, tune break mechanic that's going to be arriving in version 3.0. And the idea over here is that with this tune break mechanic, it's going to be like a separate meter that builds up as we attack enemies, hit them on the side, do all of that. And then we gain access to a tune break skill on the more powerful enemies that shatters their defenses, deals damage, reduces vibration strength, interrupts their attack patterns, and then resets their tune level so that you can build up to another attack like this again. And the idea is that naturally, we should be able to implement these into our combat, into actually this version of the ToA just in 15 days from now. Because this ToA is still going to be live. I don't think the enemies are going to change. I don't think the enemies are going to get more HP because they've already implemented the HP increase. It's just that every single team in the game should just be doing more damage. But the thing is, I don't really know how much additional damage this is going to do. We have no information on Tune Break. But if over the course of the fight, right, just looking at some of these numbers, seeing how much they've increased, right, all about 200, 300k, all of that stuff. You can see HP has gone up over here, right? Kaiser's got all the details, all that stuff. If simply by implementing Tune Break, that offsets all of the increases that we've had in HP, well then guess what, guys? Then that's just, it's literally nothing. It's literally a non-issue that, honestly, if we factor in the mechanics of Tune Break, going ahead, doing all of these things like shattering defenses, reducing vibration strength, and interrupting their attack patterns, it could turn out that the addition of Tune Break actually just makes these ToA floors, even with the included HP inflation, it just makes it easier. That could be the case. Every team could actually just be stronger. But we don't know. We got no idea what this scales off of. Does it come from echoes? Does it only come from weapons? Does it only come from passive echo skills? How do you increase the damage on this? How much damage does it do? All of those things are unknown, but I have to imagine they are factored in here, and that's why so many individuals are having so many issues clearing floors 3 and 4 right now, and potentially even the side floor with Fleur de Lis over here, and then the side floor with the Fraxinus Executioner and Scar over here. Because you're meant to have mechanics deployed in these fights, like the Tune Break, that we don't actually have access to yet. And that's the only reason I can assume for why we've had such a dramatic HP increase that hasn't matched any of the HP increases we've ever had before in the history of the game. Otherwise, this is Kuro just decided to take the balance of this game mode and then fuck it in the ass for no reason. But when they've already revealed that this is a new mechanic that will be in 3.0 that directly boosts the damage output of every single team in the game, all this is doing in this tactical simulacra event, which is meant to demonstrate and for us to beta test how the feature is going to work. Guys, all this does is just take your existing teams and make them deal more damage. None of your existing teams get weaker or you feel like you got to do anything dramatically different to, I don't know, make this mechanic work. You just kind of like go in, it builds up naturally, you pop it, you deal the damage, and then you just kind of play in a similar sort of way that you've been playing before. It's just extra damage on top. And so hopefully it'll all actually be balanced. Now, let's talk about what I think are the issues with the methods that Kuro is taking right now. First and foremost, I think that Kuro should have mentioned something about this and something about the difficulty spike that they were going to be including in this iteration of the ToA. I'm going to be honest. I feel like something about this should have been announced, or there should have been some additional measures to retroactively buff up the ToA after 3.0 was released. Some type of communication. Because I think this is actually the intended route that most people should take. The ToA reset a couple of days ago. Everyone knows that, right? I mentioned it at the start of the video. It reset on the 8th. I legitimately don't think you should even be doing it or really worrying about doing it or feeling stressed about not being able to complete it until after 3.0. Because yes, then you'll have access to all the tune break shit that should actually offset all the ridiculous amount of HP inflation that's been put in. That's what I personally think should happen. However, don't feel bad about just experimenting, trying it out in the meantime, just to see if you can clear, because it is possible without the tune break mechanic, but it feels like that's the baseline level of like capability that Kuro's expected and balanced this ToA around. However, why the fuck did they do it this way, where you have about 17 days, around 17 days, where you are literally underpowered relative to the content that you're supposed to take? When it's unannounced and players don't know about it, they feel like the problem is with them. Anyone that could clear the prior ToA and can't clear this one, it's not because of a skill issue. It's not because you suddenly played way worse, or that your echoes got worse, or that your rotation got messed up, or that you were doing something wrong. You're simply taking what cleared in the past reset, trying to do it again, and it's not working. And that's because nothing with you changed, but clearly stuff with the developer changed. And when all of that existing backbone and stuff is there, no player should really be feeling bad or feeling the blame for it. But when the issue is you don't announce this, you don't make it clear what your intentions are with the updates. Once again, there's not a single mention of like this in like a notice, anything like that. No official post on the Twitter page. Nothing talking about how they're adjusting the ToA for the new tune break mechanic that's coming in. Players are left in the dark. And I think this is, at its core, a non-issue turned into an issue because Kuro won't fucking communicate. Kuro can't communicate. Yeah, that's a fucking anime, isn't it? Guys, it's not that hard just to say the ToA, because this next reset expands into 3.0, which you can clearly see it fucking does in the menu over here. It goes until January 5th. Because the new ToA extends into 3.0, the difficulty of the new ToA will be adjusted to account for the new tune break, tunability combat mechanic coming up. How hard is it to do that? And so enemies may feel stronger. And if they do, don't worry. You'll deal more damage in 3.0 and you'll be able to deal with it. How hard is it to communicate that? Instead, you got people wondering if Kuro's the new Hoyo, if they're going to start implementing rampant power creep into the game, if they're going to start designing endgame that feels really, really, really bad if you don't have the intended units. Because guess what, guys? For a lot of players, the floors 3 and 4 feel really, really fucking bad. Really bad. Unless you have, like, these 3 units. I've seen people bitching and moaning, crying, shitting themselves because they can't clear with their Cartithia Chacona team. Yes, this fucking team right here, guys. This fucking team. I've seen people talking about how they can't clear with it. Well, that is probably an impressive accomplishment on its own, because I think I can clear this team like just I think I can clear with this team like just on my first try. Wait, you know what? I kind of just want to test it out. I kind of want to just test it out because I've seen people talking about how they can't clear with this team. There's no way, right? Like that's not real, right? That's not like a legitimate thing, right? Let's just see what the time is, right? Let's just see what the overall time is. 4th floor, right?
Stress points mapped. Flicker into the structure when come. Meet your end.
I forgot how to play this unit.
Deviation correct. There's still time.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
For the thread snap.
I mean, I'm playing with like a little bit of skill issue as well, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty easy.
Sounding the death knell. Vexing malice. My blade.
Just getting hit, not really dodging.
into nothingness.
Wait, she got fucking destroyed.
Flicker into form. Break apart. Thanks for watching. Ta-da!
Wait, what are people struggling with over here?
Let the show begin.
I feel like I'm just like absolutely crushing this guy.
Such is their blessing. Repent, for silence beckons. Sounding the death knell. Celebration. Quietus. Furious tides.
Was it floor 3? This one doesn't seem that...
I have been flickered a pivotal.
I don't even know what I'm doing on the Chisa second rotation. I'm pretty sure I'm like messing it up.
Down to the light structural collapse. Connection set.
Thanks for watching. Ta-da! A grand overkill. A perfect
Wait, how are people struggling with this team?
of destiny.
Oh no! I see. Maybe they're like not getting Chakotay's outro skill like I just didn't over there.
Purge the
Yeah, maybe they're pulling like a me.
true form. Revealed at last. Tide, rise and crash. Exonerate. Winds
I mean, it's just...
sweep all the way.
Lifeline. Block. Flicker nothingness.
I mean, what can I say, bro? This just seems like...
Break apart. Thanks for watching. Ta-da! A grand over.
Okay, I think I see what the issue is. The time is not very good for this team.
Finale.
The time is a sub 30-second clear is not very good for this team. Right? I cleared it at 2:57:39. I had a couple of errors in there, but typically my rotations are relatively crispy in this team. My Chakotay rotation in particular is quite fast because I know all the cancels to do there. Each Chakotay rotation can take like 5 or 6 more seconds if you got no fucking idea what you're doing. I did about 4 or 5 Chakotay rotations in there. Add on 30 seconds from fucked up Chakotay rotations, and yeah, that's not going to clear. So I'm beginning to see where the issues are. With this team, prior to the HP inflation, that's for the tunability mechanics, once again, this team was clearing with that rotation on this team. It was clearing with about 30, like a minute left, 45 seconds left. And so there was room to fuck up a shit ton of your rotations. There was room to bungle your rotations in the prior resets, but there's not room really to bungle them now as much. So your Kartithia teams, your Chakotay teams, all that, factor in the tomb break, and I'm sure you'll get back to the times that you were originally having before. I'm pretty sure you'll get back to those times. But unfortunately, until this mechanic becomes available, you're going to have to recognize that maybe 15, 25 seconds, that's not going to be enough for you. So yeah, you are either going to, in the present, have to figure out how to do the rotation faster, or just wait 15 days for Tomb Break to be available and just keep doing what you're doing. But once again, when the ToA resets on the 5th of January, the great news is that you can wait and not lose anything. But like I said before, I think Kuro's implementation of this, it should have been in 2 parts, where A, they either communicate that it's going to be, the difficulty is going to ramp up, or B, they ramp up the difficulty just after 3.0 when the mechanics are fucking there. Because right now, Tomb Break is not in the game, but the game is balanced around you having Tomb Break. And that's why a lot of people are just getting cooked right now. A lot of people are legitimately just getting cooked right now. And in this respect, right? In this respect, if you cannot clear the ToA, unfortunately, there is one actual fact about it. If you cannot clear the ToA right now, then there's nothing I can say other than it is literally a skill issue, because high skill is currently the only way to clear, because the mechanic that gives us the damage just isn't in the game yet. So we have to make it up with skill for the next 15 days. That's it. That's the truth regarding the matter. And so, maybe view it as a badge of accomplishment, right? If you're able to take your lower budget or your lower gear teams and clear this version of the ToA, because right now, unfortunately, it isn't balanced. It is not balanced. But it's not balanced for at least a good reason. So yeah, let me know what you all thought about this breakdown, what you all thought about these examples, what you all thought about this reasoning, logic, and situation, how Kuro's tackled it, and what they could do better, all of that. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.